Production.
The following program is intended for mature audiences. You're listening to This is MVM, a podcast series coming to you from beautiful British Columbia, Canada. And now, here are your hosts, Michelle St. Hill, Vanessa Williams, and Maryann Pine. This is MVM.
Welcome back to This is MVM. My name is Michelle, and I'm so happy that you are spending time with us today. I have an opportunity to share some very, very, very interesting stories because that is the platform of our podcast. It's all about our stories. I have with me tonight my two girlfriends, my co-hosts, or my accomplices, depending on which way you'd like to look at them. And we're going to be talking today about our pet peeves, things that make you go, yuck, things that make you upset, people who make, well, not talking about the people, we're talking about the actions that make you upset. So without further ado, introducing in full collaboration, my girl.
Hello, my beautiful people. This is Vanessa, the V in MVM. It's always a pleasure to be here sharing my stories with these lovely ladies. It's time for therapy. What does make Vanessa vex? Stay tuned, you'll find out.
What makes you, Vanessa? Seriously?
Gonna hear it soon.
Oh dear, this is Maryann, the other M in MVM, present and accounted for. Just wondering what get these young ladies vexed. Me, I don't vex anymore, not really. Okay, maybe a little bit sometimes. What makes you?
Just a little bit sometimes, eh? Well, you know what's interesting is that sometimes we have to establish some boundaries, right? We don't do that. We allow people to kind of like walk all over us, or we don't even realize that they are walking all over us sometimes. By the time we get so vexed with them, it's like, well, hold on a second. I actually gave them permission. I gave them permission. So we need to stop giving people permission to treat us badly. What makes me upset? I was trying to think about that. What makes me vex? Well, I was in the car driving, and I will tell you this: selfish drivers make me vex. People who don't even acknowledge you and say thank you. You're in a line of traffic, the light's red, very clearly red. They have nowhere that they can move up to, but they could let you out. You're trying to make a left-hand turn or a right-hand turn, and they could just let you out. But no, they don't. They close the gap. They close the gap to such a way that they actually get you stuck that you can't go anywhere. And then the person behind gives you this look like, I don't know what was wrong with him either. And you just have to shake your head. Or you let somebody out in traffic and you wave them on, and they just drive. They don't even acknowledge you with a thank you. And I think that people have got very selfish. The other thing that really, really, really upsets me is entitled people. I have a business which is client-based. And so if you're a new client and you're coming for a service as a speciality, and you call up and you tell me the story, for instance, I just had this really bad haircut, or I just had this really bad service, or whatever it is that you might be calling about, and is there any chance that you can help me out? So you let them know, probably beforehand, that you have a waiting list right now, and it probably is about a month, 6 weeks. And they're like, a month, 6 weeks? I can't wait that long. Well, they went somewhere, they got a bad job, they've come to somebody they found that's a specialist in what it is they want done. They want you to fix it, but they expect that you wouldn't be busy doing somebody else, or that your schedule was just waiting for them. So Vanessa and Maryann, what do you think in connection with that? How do you feel about entitled people and bad drivers?
I want to touch on the driving. My pet peeve for that is when you're in a parking lot, you're waiting for a driver to come out. You might be behind or in front, but let's say you are behind and the driver reverses out onto your side and you have to back up. And the driver come from in front, comes in, not seeing you, or maybe saw you waiting, and just scoop into the spot like if they didn't see you there. And you might politely go over. I've done it before, stop and say, hey, I was waiting for this spot. And they look at you like, What, you think this is your backyard or something? And they don't want to give you the spot. I find that to be so rude to the point where I can just shake them. You know? Because I'm maybe already irritating from waiting so long to get the spot. And there you are. Or they just look at you like, what are you talking about? Pretending that they didn't see you in that spot. Yeah.
You know what's interesting about that? You know, on the steering wheel, there's this big thing in the middle of the steering wheel. Beep, 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 beep. Right? That's the purpose of that. Warn them, signal. It's like, hey, wait, back off. I'm here first. Use a signal.
You know, ladies, for me, so I learned to drive in Jamaica. I was way into my 20s when I actually got my driver's license. Actually, yes, I did learn to drive in Jamaica as a teenager. That didn't go so well. And then did some lessons as an older teenager when I lived in Canada. That didn't go so well. Went back to Jamaica and I got this lady, Mrs. Newman, I remember her name. She was a dragon lady. But one thing about her, if she taught you how to drive, you could drive. You end up have to beg for my license for me, but I didn't have to buy it, as my husband at the time thought he would have had to spend money for the license, but she begged for the license because Lordy only knows what I did when I went on the road. But one thing I can tell you, I was a terrorist. I will freely admit to it. Drive like a terrorist, blow horn like a terrorist, cuss whole heap of bad word like a terrorist, drive on sidewalk, do all kind of madness because I could. Fast forward to this day and age, and I don't even know, it doesn't have anything to do with age because there's certain things that Michelle and I like to do. We won't talk about that. We won't make it public, right? But where it comes to driving, behave yourself. However, I can safely say that I don't get vexed on the road anymore. And one thing a friend taught me, like I used to wonder to myself, every time we went somewhere, he would park far away from wherever it was he was going. He never parked. He didn't try to find a spot, right? And I go, when it comes on to the driving and parking, I anticipate that I'm going to get a parking spot where I want the parking spot. And for 9 times out of 10, I get the parking spot. When somebody bad drives me on the road, I blow them a kiss. I no longer curse. I no longer swear. I no longer blow my horn. I will even sometimes say a prayer for them because I'm saying, okay, something is going on with that person. No, fun and joke aside, that's how I deal with it these days, right? I'm like, you know what? Something is going on with that person. God be with him or her. Let them go on them ways. I will still be me on the road in the sense that I'm going to let somebody in. I am going to be courteous on the road. I am going to be mindful of other people. But I don't get vexed anymore. I mean, I rarely get vexed. I will tell you a little more about what I get vexed about this week. But right now, when it comes on to talking about the whole driving issue, I get it, but it's as if I've been there and done that. And I just look at it that everybody has something going on in their lives. And maybe, I don't know, maybe that person that bad drive me or that person that didn't bother to say thank you because I let them in. I accept the thanks knowing that I did the right thing without them having to say it. I'm like, hey, I'm good. I got this. Go with God.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't already figured, Maryann is our liberal. She walks a tightrope, not going one way or going the other. She's always in a straight direction. We're going to go quickly to a break. We're going to chat with our sponsors, and we will be right back to hear what really makes these ladies a little bit upset.
Hello. You're listening to This is MVM. My name is Judi Lewinson, aka JudiLew, executive producer at Vangriot. I would like to take this moment to thank you for listening to today's episode. You could be anywhere doing anything right now, so we're especially pleased that you've chosen to spend a little time with us. Today's episode is sponsored in part by Posh & Harmony. Posh & Harmony is both a health and beauty brand as well as an online marketplace featuring many BIPOC-owned brands for people of all ages and cultural backgrounds. Start your melanin-filled shopping experience today. Visit Posh & Harmony at poshandharmony.com. Celebrating melanin magic, made by us, loved by everyone. Thank you for your continued support of This is MVM. Now, back to the show.
Welcome back. And our topic today, just in case you forgot, because I don't want you to get me vexed, Anyway, it's whatever makes you vex, or as they say in the English language, what is your pet peeve? Or is that North American they say that? Where do they use the word peeve anyway? I don't even know if it's something that we use. As West Indians, I think we just say vex. Yeah, so it must be a Euro thing with the peeve, pet peeve. So anyway, we just would like to know today, what is your pet peeve? So Vanessa, what make you vex, yeah?
Michelle, my biggest irritation is...
You're directing this one at me, aren't you? Oh no, that was a joke.
Girl, is when people doesn't respect my time. So I offer them a ride. We have a time, pickup time. I indicated I'm on my way. Sometimes, most times. And I get there, I text, and I might say, I'm outside. No response. 10 minutes later, you might get a text back. Okay, I'm counting by this time. Where are you? Did you just start to get ready? So I feel like I drove out of my way to get you, and you can't even be ready for when I get there. So if somebody's picking you up, people, listen to me. If someone is picking you up, for God's sake, have your shoe ready. So when they get there and they say, I'm here, you can put your shoes on. If you live in an apartment, get down to the lobby. It is disrespectful. Follow up with that. You're out. You met a friend who may have gotten a ride there with another friend or taken the train or bus there, and they ask you for a ride. You know they live in your direction, so you're generous and you offer them a ride. Only to find out they have another friend who needs a ride too. And listen to this, they're not even going to the same place. Now you have to make 2 stops. I am not Uber nor Lyft. So in the future, you will not be getting a ride if you do this to me one time. That's once you'll get to do it. You know what? Thinking about it, I wouldn't even give them a time anymore. If it has happened in the past, that's it, man. You're not going to get, call Uber or Lyft. So that one is my biggest one. The second thing is when people misunderstand you, they interpret your communication wrong. You may have a conversation with them over something, maybe give a little advice here or there, but you had a conversation nonetheless among yourself, and next thing you hear, you get a phone call saying, I wanted to tell you off a long time ago. Pillow talk is a hell of a thing, because when you're going to repeat what I said, what did I say that caused you to repeat what I said? So if someone come to you and say, oh, so-and-so was talking about you, you know what I will ask them? How long was that conversation? And if the conversation was an hour, how much of the time you spent on me? Was it 5 minutes? Or did you say, as one of my friends would say, this is not my story, so I'm not telling it. You will have to get it from her. And thank you, my friend. If you're listening, you know who you are, because you say it all the time. Now, ladies, those are my top 2. And we'll come back later on because I don't want to hug the mic. Okay, I want to hear what Maryann has to say. And you all can rebut on what I just said. Let me know your thoughts on it. Okay, Michelle, I see your hand up.
Yeah, come with it, man. Come with it.
I was going to say, Vanessa, actually, aren't you glad that we now have Uber and Lyft in Vancouver, or at least Uber? Because remember, up until a little while, we didn't have them. So the difference with offering somebody a ride and then them saying, could you give my friend too? If they turn around and said to you, let me give you something towards the petrol, now you don't mind. It's like, you know what, they're being considerate because if they had to take a taxi. You're quite right. I think it's very rude when people, more often than not, especially when it's a female, you never want to see them left behind. So you very often do offer them a lift. And I know I'll offer people because I like driving. So it doesn't matter to me. I'll say, oh, you want to ride? Let me take you home because I like driving. And Vanessa, you are allowed to give props to the people who keep your story to themselves. The people, you don't have to keep that private. You're allowed to actually say, you said, oh, and I have a friend. And if you're listening, you could put a shout out to the friend.
Next time, I'll do that.
Right, there you go. Okay. Anyway, so Maryann, what do you think about Vanessa's story? About her pet peeve?
Well, there again, for me, if somebody asks me for a ride, if I can give them the ride, I give them the ride. If they bring somebody else along and they say, boy, can you give this person a ride? More than likely, I'll say yes. But I mean, if I'm going to Surrey and they live in West Van, it depends. It depends on where they're at. Depends on whether they're able to stand on their own 2 feet. If I feel that they're in a position that somebody could possibly take advantage of them, then I'll give them the ride. I mean, I've done it many times. So for me, that's not a peeve, but I get it. I can understand that, especially at the end of the night, you're tired too, and you want to go home.
Mm-hmm. I think Vanessa's other thing about people disrespecting time, I know that one is one of her pet peeves. I know that one for sure. Didn't know it was her number one though. Good to know.
Well, the thing about it is that people should respect other people's time. It's all good and well to say, oh, well, I didn't know what I was going to wear and this and that. Take it from me, who's somebody that I can get dressed in 5 minutes and look fantastic as far as I'm concerned. I don't know about anybody else. I'm not buying that nonsense. I'm really not buying it. People do need to respect each other's time. And then you get to the point though where you have to say, you know what? This is no longer working for me. And so you do one of two things. You either leave them, go, or you make that time the last time. But if you keep going back for more, then it's your fault, not their fault, because they've decided that that's their way, that's how they operate, that's how they choose to operate. If it doesn't work for you, doesn't serve you, then you have to protect yourself. You can't vex with them at that point because you've allowed yourself to go through it time and time again. So it's either you do something about it.
You're correct. Definitely let the person know. Or put up with it. And at some point you're going to have to say no. Or at some point you're going to have to be like, you know what? I've been out here for 45 minutes now. It's time for me to go. I'm out. Bye.
Well, on that note, we'll be right back. We're going to another commercial break while Maryann straddles a tightrope.
Hello, beautiful people. This is Judi Lewinson, aka JudiLew, executive producer at Vangriot. You have been listening to This Is MVM, and we are so happy that you joined us today. If you enjoyed today's programming and wish to show your support, we'd love it if you would start by liking, sharing, following, and commenting on any of our social media channels. You can find This Is MVM on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at MVM Stories. That's MVM Stories. You could have been anywhere, but today you chose to spend a little time with us, and we want to thank you again for listening. Be sure to tell your friends and family about This Is MVM.
Welcome back to our other segment of What Makes You Vex. So Maryann, you were being a nice liberal and you were talking about the things that, the tightrope walk. So finish your thought. Because if at the end, go ahead with your thought about people.
I thought about people. Now, you were saying, Vanessa, you had an issue with people, that had an issue with you or conversation. So here's my take on the matter. If you don't want it to be repeated, don't talk about it. Just don't mention it. Don't share it. I mean, I've been in situations where I've seen people talk about another person behind their back, of course, and they say all kinds of negative things about them and so on. And then I will see them in the company of the said person that they were dishing all this dirt on. And it was as if it was a long lost love. And as far as I am concerned, I don't trust anything anybody come to me and tell me if I don't know if it's not facts that you're dealing with, if it's not something that is important that I need to know, I don't want to hear it. I don't share gossip with me because I don't want to hear it. Don't tell me that you heard this from that person, from that person, from that person. Not interested. And if you don't want something to come out, don't share it. Go talk to your priest or your pastor, or go lock up in the closet. God saying must go somewhere, go hide and pray. Go in there and talk it out loud. It's for the four walls. I just don't share it with nobody.
I hear you. That's very true, because sometimes the people who you think, and I think the minute you preface something with, and don't tell anybody, oh man, you just messed it up.
It was a conversation that was repeated.
Yeah, don't tell anybody.
You messed it up. That's it. You put it out there. It's done. It's gone. It's gone.
But sometimes what you put out there is not even negative, but it's how the person receive it and then relay to the next person, right? I feel in that case, if you have an issue with something you heard, how about being a big person and say, hey, I want to talk to you about something, rather than leaving them a voice message with the F word and staying in your lane and all of that, right? Call me up and say, hey, and the whole thing about it, Maryann, it is something that the person know that I have told them to their face before. It wasn't like a gossip behind their back. And it was directly the person that I had the conversation with. It was a direct conversation among us based on what she brought to me. So yeah, that really get me vexed when you come to me and then I say something, I reply or respond to what you're saying, and then you go and you use that and then try to tell me you didn't say that. You cannot be that foolish. Sometimes people are really think you who are listening to them are that foolish, because the conversation was only had between us. So how could it not have been you?
Well, I think, at the end of the day, I think what is important is the type of conversations that we're having with people, really, seriously. If you think about it, there are certain conversations I'm not going to get into because, for the most part, it's either not something for me to share with somebody, or quite possibly it's none of my business. And if it's your business, then you deal with your business, and that's it. I think we have to spend time looking at ourselves, taking a long look at ourselves and look at the people that we are involved with, the people that we have around us, right? And determine, all right, the company that I'm in, is this a company that I want to be in? Am I safe in this company? Is the discussions that we are having, how does it benefit me? How does it improve my life, versus being in a group of people where it's just negativity all the time and this is back and forth and, talking about this person, talking about that person. Boy, this is so weird. Boy, who should I would know? Boy, this, what, you know what I'm saying? That can't help me in life. You know what I'm saying? It can't help me in life. So therefore, I can't even identify with those kind of issues because for the most part, people know they don't come to me with gossip. You come to me with something, with things of substance. Come talk to me. If you have something to say to me, you come to me, you talk to me. You want us to have a conversation, we can have a conversation. But don't come and badmouth another person to me. Don't come and put down another person to me. And don't spread rumors. I don't like it. I don't want to spread rumors about anybody, and I don't want anybody spreading rumors about me. But sometimes you can't help that. But I ain't vexed with somebody who wants to spread rumors about me. I mean, I'm saying, hey, I must be a celebrity or something. They call my name.
Right.
Important.
Absolutely. That's interesting that you should say that, because it's quite right. When people come to you with a story, and sometimes they can't wait, and they're trying to get you to input. And as I always say, look, this is not my story to tell. You need to know who you need to ask. Sometimes people come and say, oh, did you hear about so-and-so? I'll just play dumb and stupid. And no, I didn't. And leave it at that. I didn't hear it. And, and 90% of the time, if it's somebody, I'll say, well, first of all, I really would rather you didn't have that conversation with me, because I prefer not to know. Then I can never be accused of anything. Right? Because when you know that they're coming with stuff, it's like, no, I'd rather not know. Because you always know, you already know who those people are, the people who like to carry other people's stories, And
yeah, you sometimes you wonder to yourself, like, were they a fly on the wall in the bedroom with them or something? And I mean, the thing is, I remember having a conversation with someone that was very dear to me, and he used to keep company with some people, and I would always say you're listening to what they're saying. How do you know that they're not talking you behind your back the same way they're talking these other people?
100%.
You understand me? How do you know that they're not doing the same thing to you? Don't entertain it. Don't entertain it. Please don't entertain it. And you know what? It came right back around, and it's exact same thing happened to him, And I just think at the end of the day, if you don't have something good to say, just don't say it. If you have a problem with somebody that you can fix it, if you can't fix it, then maybe that's a person that you need to, put a divide. You bless them and leave them and let them go their way. But I can't get into the he say, she say, and the gossiping, and then the arguing, and well, I didn't say that, and why you did say that, and no.
I think we're too grown for that right now. I think that is definitely when you're in school. I think when you become, and also it's almost classless, but it's not true. People of some of the highest class also carry on the same way. We often think that it is uneducated people or just jealous people, but even sometimes the people who you think are the nicest. I remember, when I first moved to North America, being in, trying to figure out who I would be friends with. You meet people, and usually if you have children and you go to a new place, you usually start off meeting people because they're friends of your children. They're the parents of your children, or you know what I'm saying, the parents of your children's friends. So because these are the people you're meeting, sometimes they're not people that you actually would take time to know if you were younger. And then they stand up there and they start telling you about this mother or about this one. It's like, whoa, okay, I just met you. And you're very quick at talking about people that I don't even know, which means you're going to go back to these same people and do the same thing about me. And sometimes this gossip is called, I think they call it the telephone game, where it starts off, one person says one thing to the first person, and then by the time it comes round full circle 10 people later, it's a completely different story. And that's where the problem is. Unless you're going to write it down and say word for word verbatim, as I often say, I cannot repeat it word for word. Sometimes I'm given a message to carry, or like Vanessa said, your interpretation of a situation. And I will say, this is how I interpret it, but my interpretation may not have been the intent. So therefore, before you take my word for the interpretation, you might want to clarify.
Yes, true. Ask for clarification. Mm-hmm. And then you know what? Sometimes I take that opportunity, if I could, and give them a message so they can carry it back. Take that and go.
All right. No, you're playing games, girl.
Vanessa, I was gonna say, Vanessa, oh yeah, I forgot. She's a decade younger than us, isn't she? Little girl.
It's not a habit. I'm saying sometimes that's when you give them a message. Anyways.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure you can figure out who the rebel is amongst us. We have the liberal tight walker, and then we have the rebel baby.
I think we all have a little bit of a rebel in each of us. So,
well, we're not going to talk about you, Maryann. I want to hear the rebel story. Was that your story? Was that your Vex story?
Who's Vexer?
Are you done with it?
Vanessa?
No, she was following up on what I said.
Right. So
yes, we haven't heard her Vex story yet. It's coming up.
Yes. Maryann, what is the Vex story? Tell us the things. You already said that you don't get Vex, you bless people. But in all honesty, what grates your nerves then? How about that?
Okay. Well, what ticks me off, gets me peeved, gets me irate, let me get ignorant and want to take off people's head. Nah, don't do that anymore. But okay, I give you a couple of them. One, I took her to the doctor because I did something stupid. Fractured a toe last week. Went and got it x-rayed Friday morning. Went to the clinic. Yeah, determined there's a problem. Got it x-rayed Friday morning, right? Okay. Friday morning, Saturday, Sunday, Monday night, I get a call from the clinic. Oh, you have a fracture. You need to be on crutches. You need to talk to your family doctor. You need to, you need to bandage it to the other toe. So I'm like, oh, should I come in and get it bandaged? Oh, no, you can Google it. Miss what? Google what? I am to go. The clinic is telling me to go and Google how to wrap the two toe. No, you're telling me something. No. Yeah, we have free healthcare here in Canada, but come now, man, come look better that. You're sending me to Dr. Google for wrap my toe? No.
Can I interject a minute?
Go.
Can I interject a minute? For the record, when you do fracture a toe, there's nothing that they usually do to it. You just have to tape it to the toe next to it.
Yes, and stay off it. Yes.
Right.
Hello, don't tell me to go to Google to wrap the toe.
No,
because guess what? No.
But the thing
hold on. No, I'm going to tell my story. Hold on, man. Hold on.
Stupid.
That, what's it not? Pin. All right, so she tell me. So I go online and I see that I can get an appointment with my doctor or my doctor's doctor, whatever it is, because it's not really my doctor. So anyway, I get an appointment. I go to her. And I get a CD. She gets the CD and she said, well, basically, why am I giving her the CD? I'm like, so you can look at it and see the fracture. Oh, I don't know anything about that. I don't know how to read that. So she runs downstairs and because there's a imaging place downstairs and she takes it to them and then I guess they tell her what's on there. She comes back up and she tells me. And so I said to her, well, I was told by the clinic that I need to Google how to wrap this. I said, I need for you to wrap this because I need to know what you're doing. So she says, all right, she's going to wrap this thing. And that I need to get a boot and I have to stay off it for about a month. I'm like, okay, fine, no problem. Yeah. Hey. The little one. It's still there. I mean, like it's not falling off or anything, but.
So that really didn't get you vexed?
Listen, but let me explain something to you. I've stubbed my toe before, like I hit my toe, right? But this time I knew I did something wrong. Because normally when you stub your toe, you cuss too bad word, and then you go about your business and you forget about it and it's done, right? I couldn't even cuss the bad word. All that I felt at that moment was sick. I felt like I needed to throw up. So that's how I knew I did something. And then I noticed that the area came black and blue and it was hurting, blah, blah, blah. So fast forward to today, so she wrap it and she tell me every 2 days I need to wrap this thing. I haven't gone to Google yet, but I can assure you that I cannot wrap it because I tried wrapping it myself today and I need my Jamaican doctors. I'm sorry.
Come on, you need YouTube.
No,
Maryann,
you see,
need YouTube.
no, I need my
you can see.
Jamaican doctors. Trust me.
Take a flight.
Hey, if I go on that flight, I ain't coming back, girl. I'll go down there and enjoy myself. You know.
Mm-hmm. Remember the beach, Vanessa.
We need you here, Maryann.
No, hey,
Vanessa,
have computer.
She needs
have
to go.
Computer.
She needs to.
We'll travel.
Right. She already. If she needs to go to Jamaica, she already said she's not coming back. We've heard all of her stories as to why she probably wouldn't come back. So
you think you've heard my stories.
No,
That's why I said some, Michelle.
That's some. We know there's a lot more to come.
Dear.
Listen, every time we speak, I'm learning about you, and I've known you how many years now?
Oh, child, there's so much more, and you will never hear the half.
Yeah.
I can assure you. Me and the closet. Not
You
even
in
the
the
priest.
closet? That's
No,
another story?
that's who are telling it to.
Oh, okay. Well, you've told a lot to the world. You remember there's over 1 million people out there listening to us, right?
Taking it to the grave.
Oh,
No,
dear.
it's too late.
No.
She said what she doesn't
No,
do. What she
yeah,
does
there's
do.
things that I don't have. There's certain things I don't have a problem talking about, but I mean, there's things that I just don't need to discuss because it's nobody's business.
Absolutely.
Right, frankly.
100%.
So, but in terms of peeves, you know what? I don't like people disrespecting other humans. I don't like people looking down on other people. I don't like when people come across as being cold and callous just because they can, just to be mean, just to degrade. Everybody has, you can see, like I said, you'd be driving on the road and, maybe that person didn't say thank you or they bad drive you and you're saying, boy, who knows what's going on in that person's life? Who knows if they're not heading to the hospital because a loved one is dying? Who knows what's going on in their life? Because we don't know. We have no idea, right? But at the end of the day, you want people to be able to look at each other as human beings and realize that, hey, I'm a person. It doesn't matter what color I am. It doesn't matter what creed I am. It doesn't matter whether I vote for one party versus the other party. I am a human being and I should be treated as such. And any peeves that I have come really centering around that. I know, for instance, someone I know sent out a video, and based on, I will not say who was in the video. I will not say who it was about because I don't want anybody looking at the video, right? No, I'm sure people will, but it's not going to be because of me. I'm not going to share it. And when I saw it initially, I thought, okay, based on the person who was being interviewed, maybe it might be something interesting to watch. And within the first, I didn't even get a minute in, I shut it down because the person who one could think you could look up to this person, possibly respect this person, was degrading someone in such a vile way. And I'm like, why is that necessary? Why would that be necessary? And so I spoke to my friend that sent it the following day. I wasn't going to say anything, and I spoke, and That person didn't see anything wrong with it. As far as they was concerned, the person who was being degraded is in a position that they shouldn't be in, and it was fine. Whatever means necessary to get people aware of what this person is doing. It doesn't matter that you're going to talk about this person from their life from when they were like 20, 30 years ago, but they found it necessary for that information to come out, for people to disrespect this person in such a way that I'm saying, but hold on, that could be a sister, that could be a mother, that could be a daughter. Seriously? So, things like that. And I'm not even, I don't even want to, because I'm not angry, but it bothers me that we behave and think that way, and that we think it's okay. If I have a problem with you, right? If say, Michelle, I came to you and maybe you didn't do my hair properly, right? Which would never happen, but just suppose I came to you and you didn't do my hair properly. That is between me and you. You think now I'm gonna go to Vanessa and start talk about all women I know just for talk, because of the hairdo. All of a sudden now everything in life where you do is a problem, and I need to tell the world just because of a hairdo, just because of a difference of opinion. No, sir, that's not right. That's not right. Those are the kind of things that bother me. We're human beings. There are people out there that have done things that directed to me that I didn't like. You think I hate them? I don't hate them. I may never speak to them again in life, but I don't hate them. And I'm not going to go walking around the town saying, say this person, so, say that person, so. No, that's not for me. That's not how I live my life, Pray for you, bless it and call it that it done. You go your way, I go my way. If the party in power, you don't like their policy, you don't like what they're doing, then you go out there and then you work with people and then to help and create the change that you want to see. And then you make sure you go out there and you vote. But to sit down there and start to, well, this politician is that, and did you know that this man did that with this woman, and and round and round and round the town. Nah, that doesn't work for me. I don't see how you can effect change that way. Those are the kind of things that, people who harm others, who hurt children, who, I don't know, things that I will pray about. I don't want to call them peeves. They're just things that hurt your heart, For me to say that, boy, I get up and I'm angry and yeah. Sometimes you get a little something going on in you, and you can't thump down nobody or chop off them heads, so you cry. Right? You let some tears flow and let it release from your system, and you just let it go, and you live to fight another day. But yeah, I don't get vexed more than so, because it's not really going to help me in the long run.
That's so very true. And I think for most of us, I think the vexedness is an instant. I don't think it's something that really holds on unless you are the mean or the rude. And it's so right or I should say you're so right when you talk about people who are just mean for mean's sake. They have nothing else going on in their life, and they just decide that they'll just be a poisonous person, which is so unfortunate, because we wouldn't be in this state the world wouldn't be in this state if people really did live their life by the golden rule. Treat other people as you would like to be treated. I mean, that is the most powerful statement. It is in every religion. It doesn't matter whether you're Hindu, Muslim, Christian, Jew. You know, we all want to be treated fairly. And I do understand that respect has to be earned. So in some instances, mean people, they'll never get anybody's respect because they're just mean, you know. But when you know that about a person, it does make it hard. But, you know, we kind of got a little deep there, but the whole idea was really the things that make you say, oh dear, or or not fair.
But you know, it does make sense. It's not even a matter of getting deep, because we never really get that deep, you know. We're gonna get deeper still. But I think at the end of the day, I think it's good to encourage each other and our listeners too to have these kind of conversations with friends, you know, because sometimes you kind of have to look at yourself, take a deeper look at yourself and the people that you surround yourself with, and you know, I'm not telling people to go and get rid of their friends, but you have to uplift each other, you know. There other ways and means to hold a friendship together. And sometimes sometimes some friendships are just based on a lie, you know, not truly friendship, but it's just a shared hatred, a shared sense of being strong in their being wrong. You know, I don't know. That's my take on the matter anyway. What do I know? Not a heck of a lot.
Oh, well, yes, the getting deep was when you started talking about children. It was at that point that we could have got deep, and hence why I'm glad that we didn't, because, yeah, people who are mean and selfish. But anyway, that was, you know, as you said, encouraging our listeners to have these conversations with your girlfriends and with your friends and with your children. You know, the idea of being able to not allow things to fester, so that it may be an instance, it may be a feeling. I think sometimes for most of us, the pet peeve comes from a place of hurt. I think it bothers you when you've been hurt before, when somebody has disappointed you. So I think we're more often disappointed because our expectation of people is greater than what they expect of themselves. We just expect people to be decent. And when they let us down, that's what really hurts. So we're disappointed. We're hurt, we're disappointed. And then this opportunity to be able to continue and lift people up is very important. So mean people, rude people, greedy people, fake people, entitled people, selfish. There's always going to be people in the world like that. And you just have to make a decision whether you amputate them and not have them as an appendage or part of your umbilical. I think we hang on to people far too long. What do you say, Miss V?
Listening to all of this, sometimes for me, when I get upset, sometimes it's best for me to ask myself where this is coming from. Is it because I myself, like you said earlier, is going through something, and so it's like a fire waiting for fuel, and it just explodes. So I get vexed, whereas on another day, I might not be so upset. So sometimes it all depends on the mood. And then the person who is being rude, for instance, what is going on in their life? I'm not condoning it. I'm not saying that they should be like that. But what is going on in that person's life that caused them to react in that manner at this particular time? So, and for friends who might not understand each other, rather than just cutting off a relationship, how about having that conversation? And I think most of the time, if we only get clarification, it would be easier. We wouldn't be as upset. Because if I'm to take somebody parking spot and that person come to me in anger and I apologize and I say, okay, I'm sorry, you can have it. They might turn around and thank you and say, I really wanted this spot because I'm meeting someone got sick in the mall or something and I need to be there right away. So I'm happy to get, you know, something like that. Just sometimes just a small explanation can decrease the stress of the situation. But at the end of the day, we all are human beings and we all gonna mess up sometimes.
A lot of time. A lot of times, trust me. I remember an incident in Jamaica years ago. It was rainy season, so it could have been like April, May, and rainfall. I'm gonna tell you, it's a rainfall, And I'm driving, and I splashed this man, not intentionally, but I splashed the man. I felt really bad. Granted. Fast forward about a year later, I had an ice cream and pastry shop, right? And one day, this man came into the store. He came and I happened to be there when this man came. I don't know the man. He came and he purchased. And he says, "You remember me?" And I'm like, "No, have we met before?" He says, "Indirectly." So really, how did we meet? Man proceeded to tell me the date and the time and the place of when I splashed the man.
Sound like you have a stalker.
No, it just so happened that he remembered me. He remembered. He could tell me the car. He remembered the time, the date, the bus stop. I felt so bad. I didn't want to. I said, "No, I can't take your money." He says, No. This is business. This is different." He says, "You didn't mean to do it, did you?" I'm like, "Of course not. I'm so sorry." He says, "You know what? He says, "I don't know how I never hunted down and did something because you soaked me, right?" And I'm like, "I'm so sorry. I did not." And I'm there rushing to go and pick up the children at school, but I'm telling you, sometimes, you do things, you don't do it intentionally, but you can hurt people. Even the most holiest among us, the kindest person you could ever meet has hurt somebody at some point in time. And they have that thing going around that there's a therapist out there that somebody is talking to about you, right? You've done somebody wrong at some point in time in your life. But I think what's important is to recognize that you have, and you may not be able to get forgiveness from the person that you hurt, but you have to forgive yourself, one, and even if they're no longer here, or you can't see them or you don't see them, even if you write a letter.
Absolutely.
And put it all down.
Absolutely.
Well,
I think that this may be a topic that we will revisit at another date. I would love for our listeners out there to let us know maybe some of the things that you heard today. Add to it, add some fuel so we'll have something to talk about the next time we get onto this topic. And maybe it won't be about the things that are pet peeves. It might just be the things that used to be pet peeves and how you actually manage to release the stress, release the anger, and fill yourself with more positive energy. Because at the end of the day, it is exactly that. I will wave to you when you don't say thank you, but I will wave to you in a pleasant way. Like Maryann says, she will probably blow a kiss. So in the meantime, as we wave goodbye and we say thank you for spending your time with us tonight, today, or this morning. Until next time, this is Michelle. Remember that life is a journey and not a destination. Miss Fee.
Do not get so irritated that you allow people to get to your happy space. When your emotions get involved and you feel the need to react, ask yourself why. If we can show empathy for each other, this will reduce stress. God knows I want to do that. So until then, be good to yourself.
Oh dear, that was a really interesting topic. I hope that for this week and the next week until we speak again, that you will stay calm and surround yourself with peace and loving energy, This is the more senior M in MVM signing off. In the meantime, in between time, be well, stay safe, talk soon.
You've been listening to This is MVM with hosts Michelle St. Hill, Vanessa Williams, and Maryann Pine. Executive produced by JudiLew for Vangriot. This is MVM is recorded in Metro Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. For full episode credits, please visit vangriot.com and be sure to follow at MVM Stories on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Thanks for listening. Until next time, continue to be the love.